So my father put the philosophy in writing, putting really our business practices into writing in the early 70s. And it's a beautiful document. One, in that it is so short, which is something he always prided himself on, making things no more than one page. In this case, it all fits on one card and on a wallet-sized card, front and back, so that every employee has the opportunity to carry it with them all the time. So that was brilliant in its own right. Then its first statement is just to make sure everybody understands why we exist, our purpose, it says. And it enunciates our purpose. Everything else on the card then speaks to how to achieve that purpose in the best way, in a way he thinks would be most effective. And the first statement is the golden rule, our golden rule. And so treat our employees, our suppliers, our customers as we would like to be treated. Treat people respectfully. So that's a broad statement that you ought to get right away. Treat people respectfully. But he breaks it down into each category that we would interact business-wise then. Our people is number one, and goes through, I think it's the largest section as well, key tenets of what he believes the principles of working with employees inside a company should be. And our customers, our suppliers. So it's just broken into every segment so that it's easy for someone, if you're out on a slitter and you see that we are shipping marginal material to a customer. We know it's not good, but we think it might work and we think we can sneak it by, and the supervisor says send that to him. An employee can pull out his card and say, no, that's not how we want to treat our customers. Without the customer, we have nothing. And if we send them crappy products and they catch us, we won't have anything. And we want the employees to know that. So every aspect of the card, I think, is easy to understand and follow. And whatever you're dealing with at a moment, look at the card. It'll have a category that it probably exists in that can help guide you to some kind of conclusion. Every dinner, for the most part, we sat as a family and talked, and often he brought his work home. So I had the privilege of just sitting there and listening to things going on, how he worked his way through different aspects, including, possibly selling the company a couple times. Emotionally, how that affected him, and whether he was going to go through or not go through with the sale. But again, it usually, I think, like most of us, you learn a lot. It mostly struggled with people. This isn't working right. What am I going to do? This person's doing this. So there was that aspect of how he thought about managing the company through the people, with the people. But I also heard, just business challenges as they came home. But being around the business ever since tarring the roofs, then working in maintenance in the summer, and I worked every summer in the plants. So grounding at Louisville, working in the plant third shift. That was all, really good for me to understand what it's like to labor out in one of those facilities. And never take that for granted, because it's hard work, and it's easy to sit in your office and an order comes in and you say, we got to get this done. And you tell everybody is going to go ready to go home. No, we got to stay another 3 hours and do that. And in the early days, that's more what it was. Let's just stay another 3 hours, because we weren't working 3 shifts all the time. But when you're asking people to do things for you, it better be important to the company. It had better be for a purpose, creating value for our shareholders, if we're going to ask people to work extraordinary amounts of extra time for the business. So appreciating what their role is and how important it is, and don't take advantage of it, was a good part of my growing up, giving me that understanding. When I first came back to Columbus, I was inside sales at the cylinder company. I was moving to inside sales at the steel company when it was obvious there was going to be an opening in the personnel department. And I went and begged for that job. I really wanted that job. And I was fortunate enough to get it. I wasn't the lead in the beginning, but eventually became the lead and was there for 7 years. To me, that was it was just a fabulous time, because that position, that function in our company should be kind of the heartbeat of the company. It's monitoring the health of the body, right? Is everybody following the philosophy as best we can? Checking in, making sure we don't have rogue managers someplace. And again, probably a bit of a failing on my part. Should have been really focused on management development more so than we were at the time. But we were trying to be that heart and soul of the company, and you learned a lot because it let me also interact in all the different businesses and interact from a policy standpoint. My dad always wanted to look, again, pulling off his own life experiences. He was a competitive person, and I think he just wanted to make sure we all understood that people do respond to recognition. Everybody wants a pat on the back. If you do something well and you've really busted your butt to do it, it's nice if somebody recognizes that you did. Because it's not just the final product, it's the effort you put into getting it there. So most everybody wants to aspire to do more and do better in their life. Not everybody does, and that's just fine. But I think everybody does want to feel like people care about their contribution to the whole when they're at work, and they've kept their commitment to their part of the cog in the wheel. So recognition is very important.